Gabe Neitzel, along with Rachel Lindsay. All guests join us via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. And joining us with so much news coming out of Kansas City and Tyreek Hill, and somebody who put in a lot of hard work on this story from KCTV5, Emily Sinovic. Emily, thank you, first of all, so much for the time. And just, if you could, kind of frame everything and how everything kind of came together for you guys at KCTV5, because there are multiple reports and there's a lot of information that is going into the story right now.
Yeah, hi guys. Thanks for having me. Yeah, it has been. It wasn't just we got a phone call on Thursday, went through a few things, and then boom, threw it on the air on Friday. This was something that has been a huge team effort by everybody in the newsroom that we've been looking at for about a week now, because you get people can make accusations about anybody. They can throw things around, but we wanted to make sure that we really vetted a few pieces of information we heard, and then documents are pretty important, very important, and you vet and vet and vet until you get to the point where you have enough that you feel comfortable going forward with it. Because again, we're very much aware that the stakes are very, very high here, involving a 3-year-old child, mother, father, a very high-profile person. So have to look at all the possibilities, all potential motives of anybody calling or trying to give you information. But yeah, it was a long process. But felt that by the time we went to air with it, we felt confident in the facts that we were reporting.
Emily, so you said that it's been about a week ago you started getting reports on I guess, igniting this investigation. And we know that there are 2 police reports that are out there. If you can, take us through that. What was the first report that you got? And if you can differentiate between the 2 police reports that are out there.
And these reports have actually been the source of a lot of confusion, because in Johnson County, Kansas, the type of report that we're looking at for the Overland Park Police Department specifically is the city where this initial report was filed. It's kind of vague. Some reports can be much more detailed than others when it varies by police department. But the first one was dated March 5th, and on the crime incident part, it's child abuse neglect. So that's like the nature of a call, not necessarily anything that's been confirmed or been charged or anything, but that's the type of call that came in. And you've got the address, the home of Tyreek Hill, and then you have both him and his fiance listed as people who are present there. There's no victim listed. And then you see that it was closed 3 days later. And the only reason you're told is that it says prosecution declined. And that can be for any number of reasons. And at this point, they still can't share exactly what the reasons were. But among those can be things like witnesses being uncooperative or not wanting to participate in an investigation. So then you've got that. Go ahead.
Emily, I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off, but I don't want to forget this point. Does the report say who called it in?
No. And that's something that has not been clear. And even if we did know much about that, it's something we wouldn't be able to report, again, without anyone's permission. But yeah, that's very much not clear at this time. And it could be any number of people. We know that we've been in contact with a lot of close friends and family members who are maybe not necessarily on record, but have wanted to come forward because they are concerned. And they, I don't think their first resort was going to the media, but when it comes down to it, I think that their concerns over their loved one's safety is kind of paramount. So we've got that March 5th report. Then there was a report filed March 14th, like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And that was interesting as well, because only the fiance was listed on that. And then in the victim category, just juvenile was all that we saw. And this case was battery. This was, again, the nature of the call was battery. But again, the victim listed is juvenile, but not a lot of detail. We just, so it's been kind of putting together puzzle pieces.
Emily Sinovic from KCTV5. She's an investigative reporter down there. Joins us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, GTL, ESPN Radio, ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. I'm Gabe Neitzel, along with Rachel Lindsay. Emily, where do we go from here? When do we find out potentially more about the first police report, and when potentially do we find out about any prosecution in the second? Yeah,
and what we've kind of learned is that it may not be something that happens immediately, because all eyes are on this case, and nobody wants to really do anything that's rushed or mess anything up. We know that the Johnson County Prosecutor's Office, the DA, has this case, that the police department did a thorough investigation into both reports and passed along their investigation to the prosecutor's office late Friday afternoon. So what happens next? It depends on what the prosecutor decides to do. There is a chance that they decide not to press charges. That's a real possibility. And if they do, then we have Tyreek Hill getting booked and prosecuted into the Johnson County Jail. But when that happens, or if that happens, that's really all up in the air. This is kind of uncharted waters right now.
Emily, you're our boots on the ground out there. What is the atmosphere like right now in Kansas City regarding this incident? And we know it's not the first time that Tyreek Hill has been associated with a domestic violence or an assault incident. What are the fans saying? Because I know that how much the residents, the fans love the Kansas City Chiefs, and he is a star there.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the really tough things about doing reports like this, is that I know our entire newsroom, I can speak for most everybody, is that the Chiefs are such a huge part of the culture here. I mean, people live and bleed, red and gold. They love the Chiefs. I grew up a huge Chiefs fan, so it's nobody's itching to throw any of the Chiefs under the bus, but we were not certain what the reaction would be. That's something we had to be realistic about, that we may not be in everyone's good graces after reporting something like this. But I think it's been kind of surprising because it's been fairly mixed, and I would say the majority of feedback we've heard is, I don't know, supportive is the right word, but I think curious, not rushing to judgment that Tyreek is a victim, or that he's being unfairly portrayed, but people that are really just trying to approach this fairly, and knowing that if this is true, and if there's something that needs to happen as far as charges, that they hope that everybody gets the help that they need.
Emily, thank you so much for the time, and thank you so much for the work that you and the crew over at KCTV5 have put into the story.
Thank you, guys.